Welcome back in, Blaine and Mickey. Man, we talk about quarterback play around here. Let's talk about the guy that used to give Blaine fits in practice. Used to give other teams fits in games. Neil O'Donnell, former Titans QB, joins us now. The dude's been hanging out in Pebble Beach, Blaine, out there braving the weather, the most beautiful place on earth. Neil, first of all, great to have you. And second of all, how's the golf swing looking?
A little rough, Mickey. I mean, not much practice time, really, with the weather we had here in Middle Tennessee with the snow and all that. I really haven't been playing much, but I played good one day. The other 2 days, I really didn't hit it that great. But, like you said earlier, I mean, the weather was horrible out in Pebble. It was pouring rain. The wind was gusting up to 30, 40 miles per hour. But there's nothing, even when it's raining, Pebble Beach is spectacular. And Monterey Peninsula, that whole area up there is just a special place. So I enjoy just the beautiful walks more than the beautiful golf.
Hey, let's just get into the question that everybody wants to know. What was it like to face Blaine Bishop in practice every day? That's what everybody wants to know, Neil. No.
He's heard the stories how he used to give me crap in practice.
Yep.
Yeah,
and light us up.
Blaine was so competitive. He never, turned it off, and that was the thing. Even at practice, we're getting fights and stuff, offense and defense, Stop holding on to the ball, O'Donnell. I'm like, stop watching my eyes, I tell him stuff like that, But Blaine and I go all the way back from the Oiler, Steeler days. He was a man to reckon with. You knew I had to know where number 23 was at all times.
Well,
he could hide, too. When he'd come blitz you, he would hide behind those big guys. He would.
Yeah, you always got the ball out quick, so it was always a hassle there. So it helped me out when I was a youngster.
Well, I mean, in NFL history, the best interception percentage of not throwing interceptions forever has belonged to Neil O'Donnell. Nobody protected the pigskin like this guy.
Appreciate it. I was always told my guys, I used to tell my receivers all the time, any ball thrown your way is a good ball, so make me look good. And I used to tell those linemen, I said, don't worry, the ball's coming out. And people don't remember this. We actually brought in the 5-wide receiver, which everyone runs now. We brought that into Pittsburgh in 92, 93 with Cordell Stewart.
Yep, because I had to cover him. I was the guy that had to cover him. And I was so glad that they weren't so deep into that because they only ran a couple right. I knew the routes right. I was like, I'm not running with Slash, man. Just imagine Slash playing today, though, Neil. Wow.
Oh, I
quarterback.
Know. And he should have stayed there. And Cordell and I still talk every now and then, and he should have stayed at that position because, he just wanted to be a starting quarterback. And if he just stayed at that slash thing and came in and did his third down and things like that and ran around in the slot, he could have had a lot longer career. I strongly do believe that.
Yeah, because he was fast. Actually, when we did the scouting, at least for me, I thought he was the fastest receiver I had. That didn't mean he was the most polished route runner, but he was the most natural and speed guy there. Let's talk about the Super Bowl a little bit, first and foremost, from a quarterback's perspective, and that is, how do you handle the pressure, especially, and I'm looking at it from Purdy's view, when it's his first one, so kind of take yourself back to your first Super Bowl, and now, all eyeballs are on you, and everything's about the quarterback, and how do you think that first go-round, how do you handle that as a quarterback?
It's hard, Blaine. It's such a long 2 weeks, too, because, you start off, okay, I'm only getting 20 Super Bowl tickets for my high school coach, my college coach, my neighbor, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, it's 52 people going to the game. So that I never liked the 2-week layoff. I thought it was always let's get a week in there and continue playing football. But I understand now at the Pro Bowl and all those things while they're doing it. But the game itself, I was never one to get nervous. I was more anxious, let's kick off the game, because I would sit there in meetings and did I watch enough tape? What do you do next? You have a lot of dead time the last 2 days before the game kicks off. And then, as you know, it's the longest football game in America. Yes. It really is. The halftime, you're sitting there for 90 minutes. It takes forever. So I kind of look at, what's going through Purdy's head right now. I mean, you have to somehow keep that mind occupied and other things occupied besides overload of football. You know what I mean? It's still a game we all love and want to play. And some of the best football I ever played was when I was having fun. But the Super Bowl, as you're well aware, you know this, Blaine, it's all about corporate America now, and it's so much people who wanting your time. Your agent, your managers, your business managers, they all want you to come see someone, go out to dinner with this one. Do you have 30 minutes to do a radio show or a TV show? So hopefully he's actually, really having some downtime, maybe hopefully with just his family and trying to get away from a little of the whole excitement, because as we all know, Vegas doesn't need any more excitement. Now they have the Super Bowl there right now, and that's overload to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, real quickly, I guess, and I'm not going to ask you about Mahomes. We already know about his greatness. But with Purdy, give us your evaluation of him and why he's had so much success in the National Football League and now in the spotlight, even having 2 comebacks in the playoffs. Seems like he has some attributes that's successful for him and being on time. Maybe not the biggest arm, but why is he so successful? Give us your eval.
I think Purdy is very good at slowing down the game. Like, he's really good at, okay, go ahead and blitz me. Like, he's a cool cat back there. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts in a lot of ways. Like, he doesn't care how much pressure you bring on him. He knows how to get rid of the ball, and if he doesn't get rid of the ball there, he's kind of little elusive for a little guy. Mm-hmm. He gets his 6-7 yards and then get down. But I think overall, watching the kid play, I think, wow, man, this kid's pretty cool cat back there. Like, nothing's too big for him. And I think we'll see a big test on that come this Sunday. But for what is he, the last pick of the draft? I mean, he's a big story around the whole world right now, and you got to tip your hat to the guy.
Well, it just shows you don't have to have all the attributes like the big arm. So then with that being said, and still have success in the National Football League, compare him to Will Levis and what you think about arm talent, to then where do you think Levis is in his career? Is he a starting quarterback, good, solid quarterback? Have we not seen enough, or is he a franchise quarterback?
My whole thing with Will, when I watched him play, this past year is, he has plenty of arm strength. He's a big guy. He's a tough guy, but you have to be a smart player at quarterback. I never liked, and you knew this, Blaine, I never liked, why are you making me do the quarterback sneak when I have Eddie George's 250 pounds behind me who could run over anyone? Right. I'm all about, the toughness thing, you got to get rid of that. You got to play smart. If you're the tough guy taking on the linebackers and the defensive linemen, trying to prove to your team that you're a tough quarterback, and then you're on the sideline the next 3-4 weeks, that doesn't help your team. So I think there's some maturing that he has to learn right there, and I hope the coaches teach him that. Like, it's okay to throw the ball away and not take that unnecessary hit. Now, if it's a long play, a long shot where you got to hold on to the ball longer for a touchdown, I understand that. But I just thought last year he took a lot of unnecessary hits. And when you're young, that's fine. But when you start getting into your 3rd and 4th and 5th years and your shoulders and all the throwing we do with our shoulders, you have to be a lot smarter quarterback. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm with former my teammate and NFL quarterback great from the Titans, the Steelers, as well as the Jets, Neil O'Donnell.
So, Neil, I'll ask you this. What do you think of the Titans going in obviously Mike Vrabel let go, defensive guy, defensive coach. Your thoughts on the Titans hiring Callahan, who's thought to be an up-and-coming offensive mind, and maybe kind of changing the team philosophy here from the head coach down?
Mickey, it's tricky. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm a season ticket holder. I go down to all the games, at least most of them. I just feel like, when this all went down, there's a part of me that said, let Mike finish out one more year and let's see if he could turn it around. I know in this business we're judged by wins and losses. In the last 2 years, it didn't favor Mike Vrabel on the win column. But I feel like it's one step forward, 2 steps back. You know what I mean? And it's with this new stadium coming right now, there's a lot of unknown. I mean, what are these PSLs going to be for? How's this team going to be? There's one thing that I never, ever heard, especially in Pittsburgh, was, rebuilding. I mean, if you're a 10-year veteran or if you're a rookie, if you go down, it's next guy up. I mean, we expected in Pittsburgh to play in January. I don't care who you were, where you were drafted, where you're from. You had to perform on Sundays at a high level, and that's why you're there. That's your job. And I was always that way. And I read all this stuff, and I don't know, you guys are more around it more than I am. We had to create, 2 new titles with the Titans? Is that correct? Yeah, like there's 2 new jobs in the front office? Like, isn't there a cap guy? And what's the fancy word they're using now? Analytical? Is that it?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, cap guy's been around forever. I just feel like, do you really think the Kansas City Chiefs are really thinking analytical right now? Players make plays. I'm sorry. I mean, players make plays. Let's go back to backyard football. If you're stronger and faster than the guy across from you, you're going to beat him. So with the Titans, there's a huge question mark out there right now. I mean, I wish I could say, we lost in the playoffs this past year, and I'm excited for next year because we have this guy coming back, this guy coming back, this guy coming back. You can't say that with the Titans right now.
Well, you're talking about certainly the argument of Jimmys and Joes versus X's and O's, and this team hasn't had enough Jimmys or Joes in a while now. What's the first step for them in getting to the point where they compete regularly again for championships? I mean, if that's a staircase, what's the first step they got to take to start getting back to where you and your teammates were when you were here, Neil?
I think it has to be free agency. You have to get some big names in here to get people excited. I mean, is it there's going to be a veteran backup quarterback. We'll need another running back. We need an outside speed rusher. We need so much. So you have to somehow find a way to get some big names in here to get people excited that we have a chance to start competing again and maybe play in January and have a chance to go deep into the playoffs. And who knows, when you start playing in January, ball tips one way, goes the other way, you're in a Super Bowl and you're like, wow, that was pretty exciting this past year. But I just think, Mickey, right now there's so much, they're saying all the right things. Their cap number is great, but I mean, tell me what gets you excited for this team coming up next year? I mean, it's a question mark right now to me.
Yeah, for sure. Neil O'Donnell talking about all of it with us here, former Titans quarterback and Blaine's teammate.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Neil. I want to ask another quarterback question. That is, let's first start with what are the attributes you want in a quarterback, and who in today's game is Neil O'Donnell in your eyes?
I was always a pocket passer,
right.
So I believe in that. I believe
I do too.
And my job is to throw the football downfield to get it out of my hands. I mean, we have enough great athletes around the quarterback position where they can make the quarterback look extremely very good. I mean, I'm a good believer in Josh Allen's a tough guy, but he needs to start playing smarter too. He's gonna be on the sideline soon, the way he runs around. But I do like Josh Allen. I think he's a great quarterback right now. I love Jalen Hurts. What happened to that guy the past 2 months? I have no idea. I don't know if he was hurt or anything, but I thought he was a cool cat. He was a pocket passer. He ran around, but he ran around to buy time and throw the ball downfield. His eyes were always downfield. I think that was very good that what he did, but it's right now this quarterback position is a bigger than ever because they're asking to throw the ball a lot more than run the football. I know the Titans were big in running the football a lot, but in the league we play in right now, you got to spread the ball out and you got to score points, and that starts with the quarterback.
Well, speaking of running the football, naturally Derrick Henry's contract is up. What do you think about the possibilities of him coming back? And probably let's get it from, let's say, the view of Derrick Henry. What do you think he's thinking about if he wanted to come back, or should he go to a team that maybe is a playoff contending, Super Bowl contending type team?
I think he goes for a change of scenery, Blaine. I think he gets a new look at everything. He was a stud here, an incredible player. But if I'm looking at him and saying, okay, do I have 2-3 more years, maybe 2? I want to have a chance to maybe contend to play in an AFC championship game or an NFC championship game and have a chance to go in the Super Bowl because, he's put his time in and his work. And I don't know if I want to come back to Tennessee and start carrying the ball 25, 30 times a game with a young quarterback. I don't know if that's smart. And, it's very obvious for all of us to sit around and say, he should come back here and end his career here. But this is a business, and I don't believe they'll pay him what he's asking for. Right. And there's a part of me that says, does he want to be around this rebuilding?
Right.
I mean, that's a big question mark that Derrick Henry has to answer.
Yeah, we're on with Neil O'Donnell. Real quick, who was the best player you've ever faced in your career in the National Football League? Or it may be feared guy or, just however you want to phrase it.
So, defensive side, I saw him every day, Blaine, and this guy ran 8 miles an hour backwards on the treadmill, and that was Rod Woodson. I mean, he was a big
Indiana
high hurdler champion. You know that. And when he came out of Purdue, he won the 100-meter high hurdle champion. Yep. And he was an incredible athlete. later in my career, everyone was so afraid of Ray, meaning Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
He didn't scare me because he was right in front of me. When I played my first 5-7 years, there was a guy named LT, 56, who was on my blind side, and he would scare you. He would scare you because he was the first stand-up outside linebacker at 265 pounds who could come after you, and rightfully so. I played 2 weeks. We played the Giants 2 weeks after he put the Heisman down, and I was almost like, oh, my gosh, I don't know if I want to still play this game.
Yeah, his real name is Thiesman, by the way. Just kidding. Neil O'Donnell.
We could do story time all day. And by the way, one day you just need to come and do the whole show with us and do nothing but tell stories. That'd be fantastic. But I know you're on a limited time, and unfortunately, so are we. So before you go, tell us about Gear Up Tennessee and all the things you and the former Titans players are doing in the community.
It's a great thing. And then what we're trying to do here, Mickey, is just make people still aware that, this COVID is still out there. I mean, it's so obvious to get back in our old ways and continue. And a lot of people now, and I know numerous of them who I talk to because I travel a lot for work, think, I have a cold or something, and they don't even go get tested. I said, man, you got to go get tested. I mean, if you have COVID, you can't be sitting by me rubbing your nose. You know what I mean? And it's still out there, and you still have to make it aware. So what we're trying to do is just, when we go around to different states and talk to different people in different cities, just like, hey, guys, this thing has not disappeared yet. It's still around here. If you could, help other people out and get vaccinated and boosted, it's like a flu shot. No one wants to get a flu shot. No one believes in it because they're putting a virus in you. But it's proven that if you do take this flu shot and you do get the flu, it's supposedly 90% sure that you won't be as sick as the other person who didn't take the flu shot.
Ooh.
Hey, we appreciate the time, appreciate the stories. And again, we'll do a long-form version of this one day, I promise you, Neil.
Who do you two like Sunday? Tell me.
Man, it's hard to go against Mahomes, but, man, I'm looking at Vegas, man, and something's fishy to me, so I'm going 49ers. Why not?
Okay, Mickey?
I want the 49ers to win, so that means Kansas City will.
Who you got?
Bang, bang. Let's go. Bang, bang, 49ers.
Oh, yeah. I said what Neil said. He's a lot smarter than me.
Hey, Neil, thank you, man. Good stuff today.
Appreciate it, guys. You guys are great.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Neil.
One and only Neil O'Donnell. Hanging out with Blaine and Mickey. We'll be right back.